terms of Open RAN disaggregation, obviously this is a new world that carriers, as we've discussed, used to just go a bit one-stop shop as it's become, and now we're in a completely different world where you're dealing with a lot more people, a lot more companies. So what lessons have been learned in terms of where the industry has got to in the last sort of 2-3 years, I guess, given the rate of innovation that we've seen on the network side?
The first lesson is that moving to cloud just doesn't mean only to move some software on a server. It's much more than that. It's about automating your network, is about orchestrating your network, is about creating a completely new processes in order to be able to deal with that. So those people says we have already virtualized all our infrastructures and they have just put software onto a server farm. That's far away from virtualizing an infrastructure.
Why is it forward to the telecommunications industry? Well, because it requires people to collaborate in ways they didn't do before. It requires people to agree on standards. Now, those solutions that we've seen in the industry, highly verticalized and proprietary, there's a lot of benefit to them. They've been hardened. Software and hardware work together seamlessly. They've been tried and deployed at massive scale. And then you take somebody like Rakuten, who is building an open network from the very beginning, right? And she mentioned the pros and cons. But what do we really need and what do we have learned is people are going to fight that, because that verticalized thing that we've been using forever is good but expensive. And any new technology, making that investment Rakuten's making, is costly. So what we need are disruptors. We need more Rakutens. We need more people who, and Mavenir's and all of you, right? People who are willing to come to the game and realize that establishing these open networks, while it may be hard and costly in the beginning, we're pioneering, and we have to collaborate to get that same interoperability and performance out of these new solutions as the old. So I think it really comes down to a lot of these is when people collaborate and people agree to forward invest together and share risk, because these transitions, it's always hard to get those first movers over the line.
In the IT world, one thing people don't realize is that a lot of virtualization and a lot of that happen in the IT world because it's based on a lot of very, very open standards, IETF standards, and so it was built on that. As Azita said, telecoms have been slow to maybe move in that direction. And there certainly is, there's the physical layer of radio interface can't ultimately there's a physical layer. So you can't virtualize everything. But I think the key and what we've learned is that by creating open standard interfaces that allow access through the whole network, more access through the network, open standard APIs, et cetera, for controlling the radio and the spectrum and everything, then you get the true power of the virtualization, because the network software can control very detailed things about how the network is using the spectrum, et cetera. And that's, I think, a key. And I think one of the things we've learned is that we as an industry need to provide more access and more openness and also more interoperability, so to make sure that we can support the power of virtualization. Because of course you can do it, but you want to do it in a way that provides you the optimum network, and that's the benefit. So I think that's one of the things that we're seeing happen now, is the capability of more standardization and more interoperability testing of these things among the vendors and the ecosystem to make it really come to fruition.